Ladies and gentlemen, he's an amazing vocalist that once you've heard his voice, you just don't turn back. You then subscribe to everything he's ever put on all of the internets. Ladies and gentlemen, Jacob Banks on the stage. Heyo.
Hi.
Hello. Is this your first time in Australia or have you been here before?
This is my second time. I've been here before, a while ago, about 4 years ago. Played a show called Future Music something. And it was a long time ago. But it's my first time as myself.
As yourself?
Yeah.
Wait, who were you
I was
before?
myself, but I was touring with Chase and Status.
Right.
So we had a song together that I would perform, but it's his first time being me.
Jacob as a solo.
Yeah.
So you were born in Nigeria, but you sort of grew up mostly in the UK. Correct?
Yeah, about half and half, I would say.
When did the interest in music start? Because I was reading an interview where you said it actually started with like cartoons, like Disney movies.
Yeah, I think from a kid I always loved like Disney soundtracks. Anastasia was the first one that got me.
Really?
Yeah, it's a deep cut. Only the finest know.
I really thought it was going to be like one of the Aladdin, Lion King, like that
basic.
era.
That's too mainstream. We don't. You know.
Are you really going to dig the Lion King tonight?
I think it's. I'm going
to tell Gambino you said that.
Yeah, it's mainstream, but it's still one of the greatest. But you can be the greatest and mainstream. The Beatles, for example.
This is true. That was a good save.
Yeah. Ooh, it was close.
You clawed that one back.
Yeah, I'm good at this. Yeah.
So what was it about music from those sorts of movies? What was it that spoke to you?
I think it was it wasn't just the music. It was the music married with the emotion that it gave. And I think being so young and wonderful, I think all the things coming together allowed it to be a wonderful memory. Because whenever I would hear the songs, it would... Like hearing the songs was enough to have all the wonderful elements of that film in one song. And I always thought that was wonderful. Like I didn't have to watch the film all over again. I could just listen to the music and it would give me the same emotion because the song now holds the same emotion I got from the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's all the memories attached to it just sort of coalesce around that one piece of music.
Yeah. It still is my favorite thing to do, to marry music to visuals. I think it's, if you can get it right, it'll live forever.
When did you first realize that you had a skill with it? Like you knew that you could make noises and they sounded good? I
would say about in the last 3 years. Yeah. I think the last 3 years I'm like, okay, I could do this. But it's you know, like being an artist is a weird thing. It's you speak so much from hindsight, and everything is like someone taking a picture of you. Like every body of work you do, it's like someone taking a picture of you right now, and everything you're wearing and how fly you think you are.
Very not.
Well, so it's even worse when you look back a year after. Do you know what I'm saying? A year after, it's even worse. So it's like, but you just learn to be okay with who that person was. Like who I was when I made that EP or that project. Moving on from that person, I can look back and think, boy, I would do that so differently now. But I have to learn to love that person because that person was wholesome. That person was exactly who they needed to be to tell those stories. And so to ask when I felt like I was wonderful, it's a everyday job, really. Every day you feel like you're good, but then you look back and it's like you weren't as good as you thought you were. So it's just learning to love yourself every day, I suppose.
I only just realised that you're wearing a Walt Disney Cinderella t-shirt.
Yeah, because I'm gangster. Yeah, I'm repping.
It is interesting the thing you were describing because there's no other creative profession where you are forced by the structure of it to relive stuff that you did years past. You know, an author puts out a book, it's done, it's out in the world. An actor puts out a performance, it's done. Whereas part of your job is getting up and performing things you may have written when you were in a thoroughly different headspace.
Yeah, which is good. I think you get to redeem yourself, you know? Because the performance I give of old songs aren't what they sound like on a record. So you get to like have an updated version of who you are every day. Like you can reproduce a song for a live show, you can update the song as you go along. Like if I had to perform it exactly like the record, that would be torture. But I get to always give the best version of myself to old songs, and songs take a new meaning. They become more personal or less personal, and that's what I'm grateful I get to tour, because I get to really put the songs through it.
You are the first person I've ever had on the stage who is a qualified engineer.
Yeah, that's dope.
What, at a certain point, you decided that you would go full on with music. You made a choice that you were going to go hard on music. What brought that about?
I think it was a bunch of very sad things. I started making music when I was 21, so it's quite late as far as music's concerned. But I think I caught up okay. The short version of the sad story is my best friend at the time had passed, and I thought the world of him. Like, I genuinely thought, like, if there was a human being that embodied perfection in every way, shape, or form, like, even down to how he died because he was building schools in Brazil. Like, he was the epitome of what a human being could ever be to me. And the fact that he lost his life, I thought to myself, okay, here's someone that I know that is an incredible human being, and me being a knob, then I have no fighting chance. So while I'm here, I might as well do what I love, because if his life can be cut short, then me being a very mediocre human being, I might as well make my time here matter to me and make sure I'm serving myself as much as I can. So I wish it didn't take that experience, but that's what it took for me to really realize that this is what I wanted to do. Do
you feel like you've lived up to the promise of... Because he was also quite active in encouraging you to do music, as I...
Yeah. He was begging me to do music for ages, and I was kind of like, no, I'm a G, I don't sing. And turns out you can be both. Yeah.
And so to kind of reframe that one, having been through that very sad moment and used it, I guess, as a turning point, do you feel like you have lived up to the promise of what he was asking you to do when he was still around?
I think he would be happy to know that I tried. I think that was kind of what he really wanted for me. I think that's kind of what I wanted for myself. It wasn't so much like, this was never in the works. This was like, I always have nostalgic moments where I see myself in situations, and I know that in a million years I could never envision this version of myself being here talking to you lot. Like, this is all a bonus for me. I just wanted to try. And that's all I needed to know. I just wanted to know that if I tried, and even if it didn't work, I would have known that I know what that tastes like. And that was all I really wanted. And all this is just a bonus. I'm just having fun and getting paid. That's it.
Wait, we're paying you? God damn.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
For people that have never been up on stage and sung in front of hundreds and thousands of people, how does it feel when it's going well?
It almost never goes well. But in the event that it does, savor that. It rarely happens. My emotion on stage is past it going well. Like, I wish it does, but it doesn't always, and that's okay. You can't win them all. You can't control the situation. But for me, I'm always just very, like, music is whatever. I know that sounds terrible. Music is genuinely whatever. Like, you can do way more important things with your life than be a musician. Sorry, but
it's like sacrilege here, but sure.
Like, it's dope, but it's, people are dying. It's but and it's a little morbid, but it's true. But my thing is time. Like, when I look into the audience and I think to myself, same here. Like, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose us. And this is time that you will never get back, and I'm sorry that this is it. This is how you're spending those 10 minutes. And that's kind of what it is for me. I feel so honored that people are spending their time. Whether you're here because you think I'm whack, whether you're here because you think I'm sick, either way, you've chosen to spend your time with us. And every time I'm just like, thank you so much, man, because it's very honorable that you would choose us. Out of everything else in the world, you chose to spend a couple hours with your boy, and that's special. That's kind of all I really think about on stage. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's a clapping moment. Do you remember the first time you stood up on stage and you sang and the audience knew the words and sang it back at you?
The first time? No. I know it sounds very... You'd think I should have just said yes.
Just make it up, it's fine.
But I actually don't. I don't, because I'm always kind of never in a room. Like when I perform, I think I maybe open my eyes once. Like I'm never... Like I feel everything. Like I go to a weird place. So I'm never really in the room. Like it's the same show if it's one person in the audience, if it's a rehearsal, if it's 1,000 people. Like I'm on stage, but I'm not here. Like I'm somewhere else.
Have you always been like that when you perform, or did you gradually work out that was the best way for you to access those emotions?
I think I've always been that way. It's just like, I make music firstly as an escape from myself, and secondly to keep people company. So, and whenever I'm performing, I'm just not here. Like I'm here, but I'm chatting rubbish somewhere in my mind, dealing with like working stuff out and expressing myself. For me, that's what it was. When I started making music, it was purely because I just needed an outlet to express myself, and I was always jealous of people who had that. Even down to when I started making music, it was because I saw other people express themselves, and I want that. I want to have an outlet where I can be whoever I want it to be. When I'm on stage, I could be whoever I want to be. I could be sexy if I want. I could be shy. I could be Superman. I can be anything I choose to be in an hour gap, and I feel like that's precious to me, that I can mold myself to be whoever I wish I was.
Is it cathartic? Like, as in, is there almost like a mental health benefit, right, to standing up there? Yeah,
definitely. It's love. It's a room filled with love, and everyone there are very few things in life that unify the human experience, because typically human beings are rubbish. But things when you're unified in a thing, it brings people together. So if you're all here because you love music, like for once in our life, we're all on the same page. Like you're all here because of one thing. Or like same with sports, you see, like I'm from England, if you don't. There are teams. So for example, if Arsenal was playing Chelsea, you would wear an Arsenal jersey, I would wear a Chelsea jersey, and I won't like you because you have an Arsenal jersey on. But if England was playing and you had an English jersey on, and so did I, now we're boys, because we are now unified in a decision. So music does that for people. You bring people from different walks of life. You're all here because you fuck with the music. And that transcends race, color, creed, gender, whatever. Because for once, we're all on the same page, which almost never happens. So it's always a special moment.
When did you first realize that music had that power to form a community for that length of moment where people were there? Was there a moment where you realized it could do that?
Yeah, I think just being on stage, I find my shows bring all manners of people because of the way I make my music. So when I first saw it, then I realized this is how I want to make music. I want to make music that uses different worlds. So my songs never stay in a world. Like it might start in soul and finish in reggae, or start in drum and bass and finish in jungle. Like I always make my songs to force people that won't necessarily have a conversation to be in the same room. So when I look into the audience, I see all manner of people, and I just always hope that at some point they have a conversation and they can maybe be friends off the back of this. I think just always looking into shows, I just used to see so many colours, and it was always wonderful.
Jacob, you are absolutely delightful to talk to.
Oh, thank you. So are you, Margie.
Thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank
Jacob
you, guys.
Banks.
Have a good one.
Definitely see him on stage later today.